Good, Liz?
Yeah. I was going to say, are you going to do it from memory? You guys don't know this, but Steele was coloring before this episode.
I was coloring.
Yeah. Really bringing out his inner child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for this kind of episode.
Oh, yeah. For sure. In what ways? You be the judge yourself.
So before we go into it proper, I'm going to do a little word association, Liz.
Okay.
And I want you to react exactly as you would, okay?
Okay.
You have no neck.
So, like, how do you play word association? Because I don't think I've played it before. Do I just, like, say a word that comes to my mind?
Show him the teddy bear.
Wait, you didn't explain how word association goes.
Under 12 inches.
Oh, well, that's a little, you know what I'm saying.
I can't move my socks.
I don't know how this game works, Steele.
Bullwinkle.
There's a bullwinkle and then there's the little kid. I mean, there's like a squirrel.
She's not down there. She's not down there. She's not down there. Oh, Liz.
You didn't explain the terms of the game, Steele.
You're such a virgin.
Oh.
Welcome back, listeners. That's Liz.
That's Steele.
And together, we host
The Critics and the Crowd.
Our podcast covers all of that content that has divided, well, the critics and the crowd.
One film sings with the pros but sinks with the audiences. Another film gets trashed in the trades but sold out at the cinema. Who's wrong, who's right, and what's left?
We have yet another one of our double feature episodes for you in this, our latest foray into the media that courts controversy. Neither of the two films quite qualify for a standard entry of the series. That is, there isn't a 25% split between critics and crowd on Rotten Tomatoes, but we think that they deserve to be included honorarily. Like a real estate tycoon who gets a PhD in chemistry because he donated enough money for a new football stadium at his alma mater.
This time around, our theme is, what is the theme here? It doesn't seem like there's a theme.
That's the theme.
No theme?
You got it.
If you turn this into another Seinfeld bit.
Let's move on.
Right.
Let's move on. Today we're covering the Rocky Horror Picture Show and Taxi. Not the French version or the television show, but the 2004 Queen Latifah Jimmy Fallon vehicle. It was a different era, folks.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show was critically lambasted when it was released in 1975, but quickly became, appropriately enough, a cult classic. It has been in theaters for 49 years, albeit in limited release, making it the longest continuously running film in cinematic history. Really? This?
Really, I apologize for making you watch it on the small screen, Liz, but I felt I needed to broaden your cinematic horizons.
And that's why I had you watch Taxi.
Really, this film?
Really. Currently, it sits at 9% from critics and 43% from the crowd on Rotten Tomatoes.
That qualifies for our standard entry, Liz. So did Bratz, another one of your selections for this kind of offering we give to the listeners. Liz, do you not understand the concept behind the whole double feature? Let's cover stuff we wouldn't normally cover thing.
Okay, calm down, first of all. I guess my movie taste just falls right into our qualifying category. I don't know. All the films I have recommended in the past for our episodes have all been ones I have watched and liked or thought I liked when I was young. Okay, Taxi is one of those that I will forever love and that will never get old. I'm a huge fan of Queen Latifah and a fan of Jimmy Fallon, and the two of them on screen, I love it. I think they're dynamite. I feel like this film is so much fun. It's a fun kind of buddy cop, campy film that doesn't take itself too seriously. It holds a special place in my heart, and you just had to watch it, Steele. The most iconic thing being Jimmy Fallon singing Natalie Cole's hit, "This Will Be an Everlasting Love."
Is that the most iconic thing?
That's the whole reason I love that song. Oh, also because it was in like a bunch of Red Lobster commercials. Remember that?
I do remember that. Appropriately enough, Jimmy Fallon did lip sync that song.
No! Don't do that to me. Don't do that.
Liz, how do you think they shoot musicals? Do you think that they actually sing on set?
No. I have to rewatch this then. Because I'm so sure that's like real life.
I mean, he sang it. They just ADR'd it in afterwards.
Well, then that's not the same thing. ADR's everywhere. Harry Met Sally, ADR. Don't come for me for ADR. I had to do ADR once.
Enough about mid-aughts schlock. Let's go to mid-70s schlock. That's right. We're hitting it off with a time warp that goes back 50 years. I'm ancient. Context.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show is an adaptation of the stage musical The Rocky Horror Show, conceived of by Richard O'Brien. The story goes that the unemployed actor used one long winter to work on combining all of his passions: B-movies, low-grade science fiction, rockabilly, muscle flicks, and as much non-heteronormative content that he could fit into one show. The result was an outrageous send-up and embrace of schlock, shtick, kitsch, and trash.
Starting in a small experimental theater in London, then growing and growing and growing, the musical eventually ran on the West End for 6 years while stopping off in Los Angeles and New York. Its success, of course, attracted attention from film producers. A synopsis.
After their car breaks down in the pouring rain, a naive and innocent engaged couple seek help from the misfits in elaborate costumes holding a party in a nearby foreboding castle. Dr. Frankenfurter, the host of this shindig, is, in actuality, a mad scientist transvestite extraterrestrial who is creating the perfect man in the form of Rocky. Hijinks and musical numbers ensue. Directed by legend of the stage Jim Sharman, the film starred a then-unknown Susan Sarandon as one half of the engaged couple, Barry Bostwick as her lesser half, Richard O'Brien himself as the hunchbacked riffraff, Patricia Queen as
What's your favorite color?
Magenta, Little Nell as
Where do you get your pot?
Columbia, Rock God Meatloaf as Eddie, and, above all else, Tim Curry in his screen debut as Dr. Frankenfurter. Critics have this to say about the film, according to Rotten Tomatoes.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show brings its quirky characters in tight, but it's the narrative thrust that really drives audiences insane and keeps them doing the time warp again and again. Spoiler alert, no, it's not the plot. Continue on.
It is not the plot. That was not what critics or crowds thought at the time. Though 80% of registered pros and 85% of audiences on Rotten Tomatoes view this film positively now, it was a dud when it dropped in 75. Grossing a paltry $1.2 million worldwide against a $1.4 million budget. But then, something crazy happened.
Inspired by midnight screenings of the campy Pink Flamingos and Reefer Madness, a 1930s serial about the dangers of cannabis that was produced in complete seriousness but is now utterly absurd, 20th Century Fox decided to begin late-night screenings of Rocky Horror as well. It opened on April Fool's Day in New York, spread to the Seattle Film Festival, Uniondale, Pittsburgh, and too many other locations to name. A big factor in the success of this was that many audience members could get in free if they dressed up as characters, with theaters making up the money on food, under-the-table alcohol, and goodie bags that people could use to throw at the screen. Soon, people were dancing the time warp in the aisles, yelling catchphrases at particular points in the film, and even taking part in live fan casts that lip-synced and acted out the film in the front of the theater.
As of 2024, the film has grossed over $160 million worldwide. Tim Curry admitted that many small-town and independent theater owners have personally thanked him for his work in the film, saying that it helps save their business. DVD sales and rentals remain steady to this day, and a brand new restoration is set to re-release into theaters in 2025. Talk about longevity.
Mm-hmm.
So, Steele, I take it that you like this movie.
Actually, not that much.
Really?
It's a little too hokey and campy for me. I know some people revel in that, and as a huge fan of the 1960s Batman TV series, I can enjoy it too, but I've never been a huge fan of John Waters or that style of filmmaking. I have a massive amount of respect for Waters and this film. It really understands its audience, its tone, and what it's trying to put out there. Like I've said before, you don't have to love the classics, but you do have to watch them, and that's why I wanted you to watch it, Liz, to increase your cinematic vocabulary. Also, to get all of you listeners out there to go to your local movie theater and demand a screening of Rocky Horror. Disney now owns the rights and allows rentals on demand. That's how big this movie is. It has forced Disney to acquiesce. Do it. Run. Do not walk to your nearest indie cinema. Anyway, Liz, what's your experience with Rocky Horror?
You know, I have always wished I was a Rocky Horror Picture Show gal. Like, you know, the ones in The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Mm-hmm. Shot in my hometown of Pittsburgh, by the way.
Oh, yes. I think we've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when I tried watching a few years back, I just wasn't vibing. I got to the part where they make the man and then was like, what? And stopped watching. I am here today, though, to try once again at the behest of my co-host and potentially, you know, to better my cinematic vocabulary, to make myself a Rocky Horror girl.
The premise. It's that time again.
Time to mock you for your outdated slang and inscrutable lexicon.
Of course, always. But I mean more specifically that it is the time for our condensed premise. In our standard episodes, we cover the whole synopsis of a film together, but in these double feature episodes, we give each other 2 minutes to cover the whole darn thing and then grade each other. Liz, do you think you can cover everything Rocky Horror in 120 seconds?
I really freaking hope so, man.
3, 2, 1, go.
Brad and Janet, two very regular, recently fiancé protagonists, find themselves in a dark, spooky castle on a dark, stormy night after being stranded with a flat tire. The pair are greeted by a strange-looking butler, riffraff, and even stranger-looking party guests, all enjoying a new dance called the Time Warp. Suddenly, we are wrought with anticipation to meet our mad scientist and owner of said dark and spooky castle, Dr. Frankenfurter, an extraterrestrial hailing all the way from transsexual Transylvania. We then head to the lab to see what's on the doctor's slab. It is his latest creation, a big, muscly, hunky man named Rocky. There's loads more singing, quick cuts, dancing, and even the murder of a man named Eddie, whom we just met, sang for us, and part of whose brain is inside the new manly creature. The doctor seduces both Janet and Brad, respectively, and opens their eyes to the pleasure they have been denying for so long. After learning of Brad's betrayal, Janet finds herself in the arms and bed of Rocky. The couple's friend, Dr. Scott, arrives, and over dinner we learn of Eddie's past and see the disfigured and dismembered body they have been dining on under the tablecloth. The doctor, jealous of Janet and Rocky's relationship, chases Janet down, leading to all three new guests, including Rocky and Eddie's love, Columbia, to be Medusa'd into stone. We then close at the floor show, where the group all return to life and embrace the pleasure and indulgence that Dr. Frank has opened their eyes to. Unfortunately for Frank, it is time to go home, and his staff/extraterrestrial pals, Riffraff and Magenta, have been planning a coup under his nose this whole time. Dr. Frank and his progeny are murdered by a laser antimatter beam. Shortly after Brad, Janet, and Dr. Scott escape with their lives, the dark and gloomy castle flies back up to the planet Transsexual in the galaxy of Transylvania. At the late night double feature picture show.
A+, no notes.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Honestly, that will be the best one. Probably won't get better than that.
Honestly, when you quote-unquote stumbled on anticipation, I almost corrected you, and then you brought it back, and I'm like, well done, Liz.
Yeah, no, that was on purpose. That was on purpose.
You pretty much covered everything in there.
There was a lot
You
to cover.
worked the songs in there.
Sure did.
Yeah.
A few of them.
And your modesty is really,
Yeah, well, you didn't choose me to be your co-host for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Memorable scenes.
There are no pros and cons in double feature entries, unless we're talking about Big Trouble in Little China, in which case it's all pros.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we're covering the memorable scenes, and with Rocky Horror, this may take up most of the rest of our time. We're going to have to cut into the time allotted for Taxi. Oh, no. Anyway, memorable scenes from Rocky Horror, Liz.
That was egregious. Yes, so many memorable scenes. Let's start from the top. Our opening with the red lips. It's the actress. I don't remember her name. Magenta is the character name, and of course, it's also the voice of Richard O'Brien,
Playing up the androgyny
Yeah.
and non-heteronormative
Yeah.
elements that will be present throughout the film.
the entrance of Dr. Frankenfurter. Oh my God! I mean, the anticipation. That was really. Those are all super iconic, super memorable. I think the singing from everyone is so memorable because, it's not musical theater singing at all. It's funky and it's weird and it's strong and weak in the best way possible. Weak. I think it so captures the strangeness of this film, why people like it so much. The seducing of Brad and Janet, the super quick cuts, these like weird quick cuts, the lack of continuity in some spots. It can be jarring, but for me, it totally worked. I liked it. Eddie's mangled body under the tablecloth, Dr. Scott's leg reveal. My God.
So funny.
And of course, the floor show at the end. That was really awesome.
Yeah, everything in the castle is memorable. You might note that that's literally everything that you talked about. I'm just going to call out some images. The reveal of Rocky, Meatloaf riding his motorcycle, Dr. Frankenfurter going down on both of our leading characters, the time warp, as you say, Dr. Scott revealing his leggings, and every time the criminologist appears on screen for reasons that are discernible only to the filmmakers themselves.
I forgot about the criminologist. That was so... I liked his entrance in the time warp. He pulls down the little thing. He's like, it's just a jump to the left, right?
Yeah,
Or it's a step to the right.
put your hands on your hips.
Yeah. When your knees in. We should do the...
It's a perfect thrust.
Little giant insane.
Let's do the time warp.
And I know that song because, it's like a Halloween song, too. I
Yeah.
feel like. So, you put the Halloween playlist. There's only so many. You got Thriller, Monster Mash, and the Time Warp.
The Monster Mash.
Yeah.
That's the mash. The Monster Mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
This is an example of a funhouse movie. Other popular examples of this include Nothing But Trouble, The People Under the Stairs, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Girl, that doesn't track for me.
Why is that?
I don't know. Funhouse movie? I guess it's like a funhouse because you're going through all these different things.
Yes, and it's very loosely tied together with narrative. Think about it. When they go into the Chocolate Factory, just like they go into the castle here, the plot is really just an excuse to get from set piece to set piece. These kind of films rely on grandiose spectacle and real oddities and fear, and the main characters don't matter as much, but they do have to have something compelling about them. Think about Indiana Jones. That is a big screen presence, and Short Round, and against what many indie fans say, Willie Scott, they're these big braggadocious characters that are able to carry the film because of how weird and how compelling everything is. So there are two elements, the spectacle of the house and big, bold main characters. And I think this film gets one of those right and doesn't on the other. More on that in a second.
I still haven't seen Temple of Doom.
We're going to watch it together on homework.
Yeah, you're right.
What went right? As I said, I'm not a huge fan of this film, but it has ardent admirers, cultists more like. And while I think this movie would probably have hit you bigger if you saw it on the big screen, Liz, you must have seen some things that showed you why the Rocky Horror Picture Show became a smash hit. So, tell me, what went right?
Quite a lot went right for me. First, we have to talk about the acting. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. The perfect amount of serious and unseriousness and camp. I think they're way ahead of their time back then. This is something people try to recreate now, and it completely fails and flops.
Yeah, it's because they own this and they're really in it, whereas now people are trying to evoke.
Emulate, evoke. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And it just doesn't work. So I also do audio dramas, and there are people who try to evoke the old style of radio dramas, and for me, those always kind of fall a little flat. It's not a problem. I'm not going to call out any examples, but those were of a time and of an era. And so for me, what I try to do is what the creators of Batman the Animated Series did, which is to create a cartoon in the style of the classics, but with updated visuals, updated storytelling, updated mechanics. And so I feel that those campy films that own that and do that, a la Hairspray, an update and adaptation of the musical, which of course was an adaptation of the original film, those tend to work much better because, yes, they're hearkening back, but they're also kind of doing their own thing. And that's also what this film is doing. It's hearkening back to the late night double feature picture shows, science fiction, muscle flicks, all those weird kind of 50s and 60s B movies. And yet also it's its own thing. Sorry, I just dominated that.
Well said, though. Honestly, I loved it. I think the number one thing that went right for this film is Tim Curry.
Hands down. No other entry. We can discuss this further, but every other element is academic at best. Without Tim Curry, this film will not have a heart.
Absolutely. I know others will agree with me when I say it's one of the best cinematic performances ever.
He completely owns it. He chews the scenery. He brings to life every frame that he's in. And this is his cinematic debut.
I was just about to say that. I think that's the best debut ever. Quite literally. He is such a presence on camera, and each little move or flick or eye was just, I'm speechless at how perfect it was. I think what people gravitate towards in his performance is that he exudes a freedom and dominance and sensuality and groundedness in his being that we all wish we had. Deep down, he's all who we want to be.
I mean, yeah, that is the theme of the movie, to be yourself and to let go of your oppression and to just embody the things that you want to a degree. We do see what happens when you go a little too much, and there is a little bit of that in the narrative too, that, know your place as well.
Yeah, the music is also really very good, from the beats to the lyrics to the singing. There are some forever songs, just Time Warp is definitely one of them. Coloring of the film is also something I am a super huge fan of, and the mix of dark and just bubblegum bright was fantastic. In the lab, I felt like we were in Frank's brain with that pinky, squishy. It was thrilling. I loved it. Another thing that went so right, and I think is the secondary element of what makes the film what it is, it's Frank. Of course, there's many, many, many other things. It's Frankenfurter, and it's the breaking of the fourth wall. In some films, it can be weird or their downfall to break the fourth wall, but in this film, it is perfect. The audience wants to be with the weirdos. You know, they want to be part of it all, and they want to be part of it all, and they are so welcomed by these looks, glances, or even words to the camera. I think this, among other elements, is the reason this film will continue to play again and again and have full-blown movie theater live action performances. Lastly, the comedy is so well-timed in this film. The acting, even the camera knows how to capture it. The camera knows how to capture it, and the actors know how to deliver it.
The staging of this, the director, Sharman, is a legendary theater director. And he directed films before this and after this, but this really is kind of a culmination of staging, of music, of choreography, of lighting, of costumes, of makeup, of all of these things, and the fact that it's non-heteronormative at a time when such things were very, very gauche. He does an excellent job of implying a lot. We have those two scenes where Frankenfurter goes down on both of our main couples, and it's in silhouettes to allow for things to play out much more so than they would have had it played out on screen. And it does a great job of getting audience complicit and skirting ratings boards, because in the UK, the ratings board, particularly back then, was very harsh with this kind of content. Less so with violence, more so with sexuality. So there was a line that they had to skirt, and I think they did it brilliantly.
Absolutely.
What went wrong?
There's a reason this film didn't land initially. It's a very weird movie. A very, 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 very weird movie. It doesn't have a traditional plot structure. The embrace of everything in the kitchen sink is a massive choice. The whole Halloween alien musical vibe may not work for everyone, but that's not why we're here. We're here for Liz's take. So, Liz, what went wrong?
Really not a lot.
Okay.
But I think the middle can get a bit slow. Mm-hmm. It picks up after. Don't worry about it. But I was like, okay, we're dipping. The movie was really ahead of its time. I just think it was just too weird for audiences. It was weird. I mean, that's what kind of shut me out at the beginning. It was like, man, I knew this was going to be funky, but this was like really funky. But once you embrace it, as the characters in the film do, you stop taking yourself and the film so seriously, and you just have fun. I really can't think of much that went wrong to me. This film deserves its cult status. I would go watch it in theaters this Halloween. Maybe even participate.
Ooh. Honestly, the film for me is meh until we get to the castle, and I understand that that's the intent of the film. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. Brad and Janet are purposefully very vanilla. Of course, that is their education, and this is their introduction into sexuality, which I think the film pulls off well. I just don't really care about either of them, whether they wind up together or anything like that. I think the film forgets about them too. This is about the people in the castle. And kind of like you said, it begins to slow down a little bit because there's so much in the middle. And by the end, you're exhausted. I have massive respect for the people who go up on stage and sing along with this because it just looks exhausting to me.
Truly. I see where you're coming from with the characters, but I think we're meant to be them until we're not. You know, and I think that's why the film kind of forgets about them, because we kind of forget about them too. It becomes it just becomes a wild story. I cared for them. I will say that. I did care for them and felt like the film captured the true nature of humans and desire and lust and not being all we crack ourselves up to be.
I think that I would compare this film to
A Summer's Day. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Perfect. I think I would compare this film to something like Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, because you have a breakout secondary character and you have these two other more reserved characters who are the actual main thrust of the story. For me, that film is much more my speed because I actually really do care about those two protagonists, their love stories, they're given a lot to do, and Captain Jack Sparrow just kind of amps it up. Tim Curry, I could watch him read a phone book, and him in this movie, I think, is better than Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. It's hard to beat Captain Jack Sparrow, but Tim Curry does it hands down. But I think also Brad and Janet just don't do it for me. I'm also not a 1960s, 70s teenager who is repressed and wondering about sexuality and my own identity, so they don't necessarily speak for me. Whereas when I saw Pirates of the Caribbean for the first time, I'm like, yeah, I want to get a sword and duel some undead ghouls and win Keira Knightley. So that's probably why that works more for me.
Honestly, same, homie.
You want to win Keira Knightley as well?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Don't blame you. Judgment. The present and the past are divided. Upon release, the Rocky Horror Picture Show nearly ended with naught but a whimper. But since its initial opening, the film has grown and grown and grown. If not into a mega hit, then into a cult classic that has shown resilience with several generations of moviegoers. Liz, you watched it for the first time, you virgin. Now de-virginized, let us know and render your judgment.
Bro, what the freak? LOL. I would give this film 4 Liz stars from the Galaxy of Transylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I would watch it again, and I think it's very masterful work and craftsmanship. That's about all I have to say about that. I mean, I wouldn't watch it over and over and over again, because I was reading the comments, because I bought this film on YouTube. I mean, I rented it on YouTube. I hate how you rent it. It's like, you have 48 hours to watch it. If you don't
I get it, because it's a rental, but still, I'm with you.
I know, but I'm reading the comments, and everyone's commenting like, my mom watched this when she was 13, and then showed me when I was 13, and it made me the weirdo I am, or, oh my god, I watched this over and over again, or like, oh, I watched this 5 times, stuff like that.
People who watched this when it came out in the theaters are now grandparents. So you can have at minimum, 3 generations of people who have watched this, grown up with this film, and it speaks to different people in different ways.
Absolutely. I think that's what people love about it. And it brings many people together.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You don't see people doing this with Touch of Evil or...
What's that? Say something else I don't know. Say it. You sound like Gollum!
Anyway, with that, we have left this planet for transsexual Transylvania, and we'll be traveling toward our next title, Taxi.
Taxi, starring Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon, is the 2004 action comedy from director Tim Story, who critics and the crowd alums will remember helmed 2019's Shaft. Wow.
It is a remake of the 1998 French film, written by Luc Besson of The Fifth Element and The Professional, among much else, and directed by Gérard Perret. The film became a franchise in its own right in its native France, spawning 4 sequels and helping to launch the careers of Frédéric Diafontal and Marion Cotillard.
Fallon and Latifah were already established names when this film launched, however. And the hope was that the odd couple pairing would bring together an all-audiences crowd pleaser with numerous layers, unlike the original film, which was a bit harder-edged and frenetic. A synopsis.
A bumbling New York police officer finds himself in hot water after a series of mishandled arrests, leading to him being banned from driving. With his career on the rocks, amidst a spree of bank robberies that nobody can solve, the cop must rely on a talented but manic taxi driver to help him crack the case before it's too late.
And it worked! Kinda. On a $25 million budget, the film took in over $70 million worldwide, plus additional coin in the form of DVDs and rentals. Fun fact, it was one of the last major Hollywood films to be released on VHS, though the official last one was A History of Violence. Regardless, that is enough for a modest profit after splits with theater rentals, marketing costs, and whatnot.
Critics did not take kindly to Taxi, however. Only 9% of registered critics find Taxi to be a fun ride. Crowds are also fairly mixed on the movie, and it has largely faded from the public consciousness. It certainly didn't hurt the careers of its cast and crew, however. Tim Story would go on to direct the first 20th Century Fox Fantastic Four films. Liz is giving finger guns.
Yeah, love him, love him, love him. I love him, I love him, I love him. Something about the Silver Surfer, I'm still caught up on that. I just, it's good.
No comment. Jimmy Fallon would land The Tonight Show. Queen Latifah would appear in Hairspray and the smash hit Girls Trip, among much else. And then there was the leader of the thieves, Giselle Bundchen. She seemed to do okay for herself, didn't she? So the film was a critical disaster, but it still made a fair bit of cash, and the filmmakers largely sidestepped the tire fire that surrounded the narrative. So, Liz, why choose this for our double feature?
As I said before, this movie holds a special place in my heart. Picture this. Maybe about 8, 9 years old. Liz, I'm scrolling through the movie channel on my cable TV, back when we still had cable, LOL, and seeing Taxi on the movie channel. I clicked, and boy, I was not disappointed. After many watchings in bits and pieces, I eventually got around to seeing the whole thing. I ate it up still. Jimmy singing, "This will be," while reversing in the car, the crazy BMX bike sequence that we're supposed to believe was Queen Latifah, the models being the bad guys. This film is equivalent in iconicness for me to the 2000s Charlie's Angels films and Rush Hour.
What?
Yeah, that's equivalent. Those all sit in the same wheelhouse for me. Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3, Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, and Taxi. That's it. I'm just a fan. What can I say? I also just want to put this out there. Don't ever. Okay, Steele, I gotta take a seat. I have to like calm down. Don't ever let me meet Queen Latifah because I might die. I might die. She's my starstruck. I will vomit, cry, and collapse. That's who she is to me. So maybe I should meet her because I really want to. But maybe okay.
I remember when this film first came out, I was not antagonistic toward Fallon, though I didn't love the era of Saturday Night Live in which he prominently featured. I'd enjoyed Queen Latifah's music and her work on Living Single. I'd liked the original film. My father had a VHS copy, actually, and naturally. But something about this didn't really intrigue me. The first French film was a little more Crank or some other Jason Statham film, albeit a bit goofier. This seemed way, way too off-tone of that, a bit too Hollywood. I wasn't dreading watching this movie like I was dreading Bratz and Bring It On in it to win it, however. So I was kind of willing to see if this would expand my cinematic horizons.
Oh, girl, you were expecting too much, but that's okay. I appreciate you for that. The premise. Steele, get ready. Get set.
Hold on. Tell it for the first timers.
Fine. Once again, we've come to the premise of our double feature. Steele over there is going to take 2 minutes to give you I'm not calling it a Reader's Digest version. Nobody knows what that is.
Oh my God, of course. No, never mind. Keep going.
Steele is going to take 2 minutes to give you a condensed YouTube version, video essay, maybe shorts, version of Taxi. I will judge him.
What else is new?
And then we'll get to the home stretch of our episode. Ready, Steele? Make like Queen Latifah and hit the gas.
Belle Williams is a bicycle courier in New York City, but dreams of more. Thanks to her lead foot and a taxi license, she upgrades her bike to a souped-up 1999 Ford Crown Victoria. With great speed comes great responsibility, and she manages to make a name for herself as the fastest cabbie east of the Hudson. And that's saying something. Her exact opposite is one detective, Andy Washburn. He's bumbling, he's distracted, he's completely incompetent. After he crashes his partner's car and allows a gang of thieves to escape, he's demoted to foot patrol by his boss and ex-Marta. Andy is desperate to get back in his old position. A bank robbery is just what he needs. He flags down Belle's cab and, after a wild ride, arrives at the scene of a crime as a gang of female Brazilian thieves, led by a very familiar-looking woman named Vanessa, pile into their sports car, clown style, and book it. Too bad for Washburn and Belle. The cops arrive soon after and arrest them in a case of mistaken identity. Belle's car is impounded and she's being treated roughly, but Washburn sees an angle. He'll get her the taxi back if she helps him solve this case. Belle has an angle too. She remembers the thieves' getaway car from the airport. Washburn and Belle begin to piece together the theft like a couple of grade schoolers playing Carmen Sandiego, realizing that the bank thieves always strike just before garbage day, using curb pickup as a cover for stashing their cash in trash. Complicating this buddy cop duo is Belle's breakup with her boyfriend Jesse and Washburn's annoying mother, whose drunken stories reveal Washburn's sordid history with driving. Washburn helps Belle get her car out of impound, but is fired for insubordination, while Belle only has one strike left for reckless driving. A side note, complete fantasy, as the NYPD is worthless when it comes to getting reckless drivers off of the streets. Learning to trust each other, Belle teaches Washburn how to drive. They uncover a connection to the garbage truck drivers, a garbage collection agency connected to organized crime. Oh, the driver is acting under duress because they've kidnapped his wife. Working together, Belle and Washburn's combined skills offset their many, many, many weaknesses, and they recover the money, the wife, and their dignity. The movie isn't over yet, though. The police set up a sting to ambush the Brazilian thieves, but the criminals have more tricks up their sleeves, grab Marta Robbins, and lead Belle and Washburn on a high-speed chase. Using Belle's old courier friends to spot the kidnappers and radio in their positions, they close in. A negotiation takes place. The stolen cash for Robbins, while driving down the highway, and then an under-construction bridge at full speed. Vanessa wounds Belle, but the gang is thwarted. The police arrest the gang. Washburn drives Belle to the hospital and crashes. Belle convalesces. Washburn is reinstated. His mother and Robbins attend Belle's first race as a NASCAR driver. What? Where Belle faces down the legendary Jeff Gordon. Time.
I'm going to give you an A-.
Okay, I'll take A-.
Because you didn't put in, this will be an everlasting love.
If you could bottle my face.
Yep. 4.5. This film is a hit for me. I will watch it over and over and over again. Memorable scenes. Let's jump into some memorable scenes. Here we go. Steele. Crazy cabbies were a fact of life in New York until the advent of Uber and Lyft. Now with rating scales and TVs in the back seats and earbuds, it's never been easier to tune out the ramblings of a bearded vet complaining about a return to the gold standard. Still, I think Taxi captures something of a quintessential bit of NYC life. What do you think, Steele?
The opening right away with a body double who looks in no way like Queen Latifah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
There are these elements throughout the movie during car chases where they're cutting back and forth frenetically and windows are up and then windows are down and people are in different positions in cars. And this film moves at a pace that is crazy. And then at other times, it grinds to a halt. It is so crazy all over the place.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, but what you forgot to mention about the opening scene is that it is to the tune of Crazy in Love by Beyonce. Why? I love it. I love it. I love it.
Tim Story knows how to shoot an action sequence. I wouldn't say I was blown away by these chase sequences, but too often in modern films, it feels like people have forgotten how to use lenses and framing and cuts to imply speed. Fun fact, most practical chase speeds are actually done fairly slowly because of safety, union, and hazard issues. Most of the time, you're watching a sequence where people are going about 20 miles per hour or less. The blur and focus just hide it.
I think memorable is the fact that Jimmy can't drive. That's hilarious to me. The models being the bad guys. The model frisking. Remember the frisking where they frisk Marta?
Yeah.
Of course you're right. Oh, Steele.
I think I would have appreciated this a lot more back in 2004.
I think the models changing from their heist clothes to their sexy ones and seducing the cop, that's one of my favorite parts. Honestly, I support women's rights and wrongs because of this movie.
The laughing gas scene. I feel like
this
was a much bigger thing in the 80s and 90s than it is today. I remember that there was a laughing gas scene in G.I. Joe. Like they were kind of playing around with it.
I haven't seen G.I. Joe.
Well, I was referring to the cartoon. There was no way that you would watch the 80s cartoon.
Yeah, no.
The taxi cab transformation scene.
Oh, yeah, all of them.
Yes, all of them.
It's so good. When she's taking him to the airport, we first get a sense of like Belle's, driving style. Oh my God.
It's so ridiculous and so over the top, and it fits perfectly with the tone of this film.
Do you think you could get to JFK from Times Square in like 9 minutes?
No. It is almost physically impossible.
I think that's so funny. JFK's in freaking
Queens. It's at the edge of Queens. You are almost in Nassau County.
Yeah. Which is also a crazy ask from Times Square.
Dude, you might as well have rented the USS Enterprise for how likely that was.
I don't get that joke. I want to laugh, Steele. I'm sorry.
The final chase to the airport scene has everything that works and does not work in this movie. Queen Latifah yelling and acting like she's actually in a taxi that's going 100 miles per hour. Jimmy Fallon and Giselle trying to imitate a piece of oak furniture. Slick action that is being cut a million different ways. LA to Phoenix to a backlot to New York. That's also something. This movie just hops around and you see the downtown LA bridge and then you're in Times Square and then you're just everywhere.
I never noticed that. Honestly. But don't you think it's crazy that the car jumps, the construction?
Speaking of action films from the 90s and aughts, this was a thing, remember, from Speed, where it's going at 60 miles per hour and it has to, without an incline, clear that whole space. It is utterly absurd.
Can we watch Speed?
Yeah.
I love Speed.
We'll just watch Speed on our own.
Yeah.
I just remember from The Simpsons, I got this idea from this movie where this bus was speeding around, and if its speed dropped below 50 miles per hour, its speed would destroy it. I think it was called The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down.
Memorable scenes. I know, does this count as a memorable scene? I'm going to just say it though. I think we have to point out the blooper reel at the end.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's fun.
That is so fun. Something about people breaking and looking like they're having the times of their lives just really sells this movie for me. I think of everything in the movie, it's that at the very end. Same with Rush Hour, which, both are really... Well, Rush Hour is much funnier than this movie, but I think it just brings the audience in and the gag.
That came from Jackie Chan from Rush Hour. He loved having those blooper reels in his earlier films. And he said part of it was a laugh because that was kind of his shtick. That was how he got out of Bruce Lee's shadow. But the other thing that he wanted to show was that this was a movie and people mess up and you can get seriously hurt and it's okay to mess up.
Ooh, yeah.
So it was kind of his way to show that this is a fantasy.
Yeah. I watch blooper reels to make myself feel better.
Mm-hmm.
It brings me so much joy. Let's move on. What went right? Now, Steele, I obviously chose this movie for a reason, but I want to hear your thoughts on it. I'm sure you're going to compare it unfavorably to The Bicycle Thief or Sancho the Bailiff. What is this?
Sancho the Bailiff is one of the greatest cinematic masterpieces in the oeuvre, at least in Japanese.
Not the oeuvre? Okay, you bring out the oeuvre.
Especially Japanese cinema. And yes, I would compare it unfavorably to The Bicycle Thief or Sancho the Bailiff.
But maybe you'd compare it favorably to any Transformers movies.
Not the first Michael Bay Transformer movie, but yeah, otherwise yes, though that's a bar so low that Satan is using it to limbo.
So, come on. Tell me. What went right with Taxi?
Like I said, I felt that the action sequences, though a bit frenetic, do a good job of maintaining the pace of this film. It feels quick, which a movie like this should be. There's also every scene with Washburn's mother, who is so over the top that she rounds the horn and comes right back. As for Washburn, Jimmy Fallon, well, Queen Latifah was having fun in this movie. She brought a lot of energy in a film that is about energy. I never thought I'd say I was a fan of hers, but I've loved her in Living Single, Set It Off, Girls Trip, 22 Jump Street, Just Right, Stranger Than Fiction, Barbershop 2, Beauty Shop, Chicago, and The Bone Collector. Oh, also, Hairspray.
You love that movie.
It's tremendous.
I love that movie too.
It's great.
So much. But you know what you forgot? The Last Holiday. Or Last Holiday is actually what it's called. That's top tier Latifah.
I actually haven't seen that film.
What the freak? Okay, that is our, okay. I don't have another, Taxi was my last one on the list. We're adding Last Holiday.
Okay, for the next double feature?
For the next double feature.
Well, I already got yours.
Yeah, it's Whip It.
Yep.
Whip It. Or even Mad Money. Have you seen Mad Money?
I have not seen Mad
Oh my God. Okay, that one's after. Okay, have you guys seen Mad Money? Okay, no one can answer me. It doesn't really matter.
Answer us in your socials.
Yeah, message me. Be like, Liz, I have seen Mad Money. It's one of the best movies ever. Thank you so much for mentioning it. I'm so glad. Steele doesn't know anything about it. I'm not so glad he doesn't know anything about it. I'm just so glad that you know about it so that you can like represent us. And I'm going to stop. Steele's looking at me. He's looking at me.
This might be edging into what went wrong territory, but I feel that every scene in this film in which people aren't talking is a good one. It's a small thing, but I loved the moment where Latifah yells at Giselle and directs her to an off-ramp. This way, less traffic. The film knows its premise and it plays with it.
What went wrong? Well, I'm sure you've got a lot to say about this aspect of Taxi, so let's not waste anybody's time. What went wrong for you, Steele?
I like Tim Story's direction in almost all of his films, but this film, outside of the chase scenes, is a tad safe. It's already a very paint-by-numbers plot, so I wish it could have been a bit more slick. Give me some of the more feminine energy in this mixed with the swag of 2019's Shaft, and I think you and I, Liz, would find a perfect summer blockbuster for us both.
Yeah. I feel like Charlie's Angels does this, though.
It does. I actually really like the first
too.
Charlie's Angels film from, 2000, 2001.
I like both.
The second one's good. I think it doesn't quite capture the magic of the first one. It's a little slower. I do like Demi Moore. All the actors in that are great.
Yeah. Is that when Full Throttle's Demi Moore, right?
Yeah.
No, okay, yeah.
And Tim Curry's in that.
Oh my God, he is. But, okay. I'm about to say something really crazy, really, really crazy, and I hope everyone agrees with me out there. But my second favorite Tim Curry performance, and I've never seen it, so maybe like that is my problem that I need to handle on my own. But my second favorite Tim Curry performance, Under, which used to be my first favorite since after, okay, I'm getting really excited as you can tell. What used to be my first favorite performance of Tim Curry's, now under Rocky Horror Picture, because now I've seen it, was him as a professor in Scary Movie 2.
If I could just place my head on the table for a little bit.
He's like, if I could turn back time.
All right, and we're back to Taxi.
Still didn't care. He didn't care about that. He didn't like that take. That's okay.
I never felt that there were really any stakes here, and a big part of that is that I wasn't ever really worried about the villains. Giselle is fine. Much better in physical acting than speaking, not a shock due to her modeling career. But I never either feared her or was entertained by her or laughed at her, save for when she's reacting to Jimmy Fallon flashing his badge. I thought that was a pretty nice moment. That's the other thing about this movie. It was silly, but it wasn't exactly funny. I smiled at a few points, but I never laughed out loud. Comedy is very subjective, so you may find this to be perfectly suitable family fodder for something that is action-packed enough to entertain a tween-aged girl or a hard-of-hearing grandfather without scaring a 6-year-old boy or a spinster aunt.
I'm the tween-aged girl.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy Fallon brings zero energy. In a buddy cop movie, you need energy, even from a straight man.
Oh my God. I think you're being so hard on Jimmy.
I have liked Fallon, particularly in Fever Pitch. I thought he was a great leading man there. And there are other roles of his. He just seems so bumbling and sweaty and just incompetent. It was hard for me to kind of root for the guy.
You don't think he was going for something?
I think he was trying to go for it, but I think he needed a little more. I needed a little more likability to him. He's just too sad sack here. And I think you can make someone a sad sack and have it work. There are many, many movies in which you have a fish out of water who is thrust into the limelight. Look at any Hitchcockian film a la Jimmy Stewart in Rear Window, and you will find bumblers who are magnetic on screen. I know that they're trying to play it cool with a gang of beautiful Brazilian burglars, but it feels a bit forced, like a studio exec said, you know what I've never seen? Beautiful women robbing banks. You know, what about Set It Off? I told you, I ain't seen it. That's a deep cut for those of you out there who like good heist movies.
Another also good heist movie is Mad Money. If you were interested in wanting to watch a heist movie, also Queen Latifah. I own that movie on DVD. That's how much I love Mad Money. DVD. I get the DVD. Okay, sorry. Judgment. The critics in the crowd are divided. Taxi gets 9% from critics and 43% from the crowd. But in my heart, it gets... What's 4.5 stars?
4.5 stars.
Yeah, I already said that. But, like, I don't know what the percentage is.
90%, because it's 4.5 out of 5.
It gets 90% from me, this girl. I love this film so much. I've loved it since I was a kid. I will continue to love it. I will continue to watch it. And that's all I have to say about that. I don't really care what you have to say, Steele. You can't change my mind. Not on this one. Not on this one.
I didn't love this film. There were a few cool sequences and a few mediocre ones, but there was also nothing superlative that I could really get behind, nor anything dreadful that I cringed at. Well, Giselle wasn't exactly captivating in her role. I have to say that I think 43% is almost exactly where I'd put this movie. 2 out of 4 stars, not great, but not terrible. This is the kind of film where you could throw it on in the background of a barbecue and no one will complain or really watch it.
Damn! You really got me with that last one. I, though, would be the one person drowning out the barbecue to watch this film. In fact, I would be the one to put it on. And, you know, everyone would be like, oh my God, I forgot about this film. And man, this is the throwback. This film's awesome. It's really great. This film for me, like I said before, solid 4.5. It is so bad it's good, but also bad.
And that was our latest double feature episode. I'm giving a hearty recommend to Rocky Horror, but only in the theater. Taxi gets a mixed bag from me, however. What say you, Liz?
I enjoyed both of our double features for the first time ever, which is really huge for me. This is a big step up from Little China. Okay.
No.
Go watch both movies and have a good time, my friends.
Speaking of Big Trouble in Little China, if you like this kind of stuff, check out our coverage of that film alongside Bring It On In Its Win It, or our compare and contrast of Bratz and Idiocracy. And if you don't like it, check our regularly scheduled episodes in which we detail the films that divide crowd and critics.
Frankly, you'd be a fool not to download our entire catalog, delete it, download it again, and then tag your friends. Rate us 5 stars and send us the films that you think we should cover for our regular episodes. Just remember, there needs to be at least a 25% point difference between them in the audiences and the professional scores. We're peacing out for now, but subscribe and follow us on socials. What say you, Steele?
I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
What do you have under those jeans?
No spoilers.
The Critics in the Crowd is hosted by Liz Ramirez and Steele Philippek. Editing and production handled by Steele. Social media by Wendy Dobkin. Logo by Aria Feliciano. Music by Joel Studler, provided by a Humble Bundle. All audio effects are sourced through freesound.org and used under the Creative Commons license. If you feel that we used a piece of audio to which you own the rights, please email helmstarmedia@gmail.com.
This episode was recorded at the Communipub branch of the Jersey City Public Library. Special thanks to Kyle Ramsey and all of the amazing librarians at this location throughout the United States and throughout the world. To quote Judy Blume, librarians save lives by handing the right book at the right time to a kid in need.